Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Quips with Steven Seagal. This time, Steven Seagal is...
I got him. See that? Got him. That's just terrible. I don't do things like that.
Submerged, released in 2005, starring Steven Seagal, obviously, but also there were two other guys, William Hope and Vinnie Jones. There were other people in this movie, aside from Steven. So that's nice. This film is an action film, obviously. What else would it be? And but I'll get into that this film was not originally supposed to be an action film. Now, really, this film was actually supposed to be like I think they described it as The Thing, but on a submarine, which is kind of a cool idea, right? And the director of the film was actually a, B-grade horror film director. He was a horror director. But then Steven came in and he was like, you know what? I don't really want to be on a submarine. And you know what? I also don't really want to be in a monster film. Let's add an opera scene in there, right? Like, Steven was just ruining this movie. And I remember the director said, there was at a point, like a week before the movie, they added a whole mind control plot to the movie that was not in the script whatsoever. But a week before shooting, they added this stupid mind control shit. And he's like, I should have just quit there, but I needed the money. That's how he described it. And I think that this is textbook Steven Seagal. He bursts onto a movie that is something else, and then he ruins it, turns it into a generic action film, and makes it all about himself, right? And he's like the best person ever in the movie. Like, everybody likes him. He's like the best person. He never loses in a fight, of course. He never even gets hit once. He never, obviously classic Steven action movie stuff. Never gets hit, never loses. No, he's never wrong. He's always right. He's the best person in the world. He's super smart, shit like that. He makes all the plans. And also, one thing I find kind of fucked up is at the end of the movie, like, his friend dies, right? Like, his friend, he dies, and Steven doesn't care. He's, like, at a beach, drinking, like, wine and shit. And he's like, salute to our brothers and sisters who died. Like, motherfucker, you're literally celebrating at a table, having, like, a nice banquet with fucking alcohol. You don't give a shit. Like, if you gave a shit... Like, he looked at the guy who died and he went, oh, that kind of sucks. Then he just walked off. He did not give a single fuck. And, by the way, when I was talking about that mind control subplot earlier, so essentially this film is about this, like, evil, like, South American operation, like, classified operation, like, mind control thing. And there's, like, this evil doctor, and he has guys on the inside of the American government. He's, like, giving him info, and, so, like, he kidnaps these American soldiers and brainwashes them, and then eventually Steven and his crew go over. But there's a guy that's with them who is a double agent, he was just a spy, and he was going to lead them to a ambush, but Steven pushed him out and then flew off. And it's like, yeah, sure, Steven, it was going to be an ambush, but how the fuck did you know that? How the fuck did you know that this guy was going to double-cross you? Unless there was a detail that I missed, I'm pretty sure the only reason Steven knew is because he's Steven and he read the script. So, yeah. Classic Steven Seagal writing. But this film is essentially about Steven's crew, like, trying to stop this evil, mind-controlling mad scientist, and also trying to stop the murder of a dictator? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's El Presidente, I think it was Uruguay, and, his wife was gonna kill him, and then, they stopped her, they arrested her. That was the whole opera scene was just ridiculous, and it really felt like it was added in last minute. It really did. Because Steven wanted it, and we gotta bow down to Steven, because, I don't know, because he's Steven Seagal, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants with these fucking direct-to-DVD movies. And while I may shit on this movie, yes, it is bad, and it is not good. It is a godsend compared to the fucking shit that I have watched. Like, Sniper Special Ops. I will always mention Against the Dark and the Patriot. Those are some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. So boring, so uninteresting. At least this movie is funny, because you can laugh at it, and you can laugh at the circumstances that created it, right? Like Steven's ego literally created this movie. You know, he literally ruined what could have been a decent B-grade horror film and turned it into a generic action movie slop. That's kind of funny, right? It's sad, but funny. And unlike some other Steven movies, like I mentioned, like The Patriot, Against the Dark, Sniper Special Ops, it has a story that you can follow. Hallelujah, praise Jesus. You can actually fucking understand what's going on. Yeah, it's stupid, and it doesn't, it's dumb, but it's there, right? So it's a clear beginning, middle, and end. Steven gets his crew onto this island, or this, coast. He goes into this place, infiltrates it. Then he picks up these soldiers who are brainwashed, and then they get into a scuffle on the submarine, and then after a bunch of their guys die, and the surviving ones, then they go to track down the evil scientist and, take him down, thwart his evil plan, and prevail, save the day, and at the end of the movie, they confront the evil bad guys, the U.S. ambassador's he's like a corrupt politician who's helping out the scientist, and then at the movie, they kind of, double-cross each other. And, the film has an understandable plot. You know what's going on, which, as I said, is a big plus. I know it's a very, very low bar, but it's something, all right? I can know what's going on. It's gotten to this point, but that's how it's got to be, right? Because I dread every time, I'm sure you people are aware by now, I dread every single time I have to watch one of these shit-ass movies. But as I said, at least this one wasn't boring, right? At least it wasn't a slog. I swear, some of the movies that are shorter than this felt longer. Because at least shit was happening in this one, right? There was plot progression. Stuff was going on that was important to the stupid-ass plot of this movie. Yeah, the dialogue was stupid. The characters were stupid. The only smart character in the movie was Steven, because it's a Steven Seagal movie, and of course he has to be, the brains of the operation. But I don't care. Please free me from this hell. These fucking slog, boring snooze fests. It wasn't that. And speaking of the dialogue that I just mentioned, the ADR. Now, obviously, lots of films have ADR, it's not new. But this film, it was very strange, because there were some scenes where Steven was clearly talking himself, but there were a lot of scenes, or maybe there wasn't as many, but it felt like a lot, where Steven was talking on screen, but it clearly wasn't his voice. It was the voice of some guy going, well, we need to do this, and we need to do that. He wasn't even talking like Steven Seagal at all, and it clearly wasn't him, and it was just really strange, and I couldn't really find anything about that. So, if there's any answers as to why they ADR'd Steven in some of these scenes with a random-ass dude, maybe leave it down in the comments, because it's just really funny and really confusing. Because, again, why couldn't they just get Steven to do the ADR? And, maybe Steven wasn't available at the time to do the ADR, so maybe, for a few scenes where, maybe his voice was a little inaudible or something like that, they couldn't get him, so they had a guy do what was basically a shitty Steven Seagal impersonation, which I think is kind of funny, because I do that, every episode. So, it's coming full circle now. Hey guys, maybe they can get me to do it next time. I'm just kidding. I never want to be involved in a single Steven Seagal movie my entire life. I think I'll literally be a happier person. But I'm just saying that obviously this film's not great, as I said. The dialogue's bad, the writing's bad, the editing, oh my god, the editing is terrible. The editing is awful. Like, I think it's trying to be like artsy or something, because then they have like weird flashing images and like zoom ins and like 15,000 cuts like in every 5 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? It's like go there, zoom in, go there, zoom in, and it's just like the editing is terrible. There was 2 people that edited this film, and it's like, why would you do this? It's awful, absolutely awful. Honestly, the editing was probably the worst part of the movie because it was disorienting. Because like also sometimes there would be like a weird filter over the screen. Sometimes there wouldn't be. It's really strange because obviously since they're in a South American country, they have to have the Mexico filter over it. The Breaking Bad Mexico filter over it. That's what you got to do when you're in a Spanish-speaking country. But yeah, this film was not torture. It was not a slog. It was not a snooze fest, which it gets a point for that. So you know what? I'm gonna be generous to this film. Would I recommend it? No, still not really. I mean, I guess if you really need to watch Submerged, starring Steven Seagal in the glorious year of 2005, I guess you can watch it if you really want to. But there are much, much better. I guarantee there's better action movies about submarines than this, right? And this movie wasn't even really about submarines. They were in a submarine for like 20 minutes. So if you want to watch it, you can. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really think you need to, you can. But I'd rate this film in a real movie rating. I'm going to be nice. Give it a 4.5. It wasn't torture. It wasn't god-awful. It was not good, but it definitely wasn't torture. And so Steven Seagal rating, I think I'd give this like a 6.5. Honestly. When it wasn't anything special, as I said, it was at least entertaining, and I'll give it that. And ironic enjoyment, I mean, there's like, you can laugh at the ADR, so I'd probably like a 7. So real quick, let's do this lightning fast. Real movie rating, 4.5. Steven Seagal rating, 6.5. And ironic, 7. And, yeah. I think I'm so excited. I think I'm so in peace. So guys, hope you liked this video. Share, friends, subscribe, notifications on, comment below how much you liked it. And I've been Time HD, and this has been Quips with Steven Seagal. And I've been Running Time HD. Off to get brainwashed. You know, flashing images. Flashing images of your wife on a volcano. You know what I mean? Weird VR headset. And then it's like, you gotta add super loud music to insinuate it. Enunciate it. Shit. I said it wrong. Fuck, I'm a failure. I'm a fraud.